a special meeting of the Commissioners Court. We're going to dispense with our opening ceremonies and just move right into the agenda. Today is Friday, January the 27th at 8:30 o'clock in the morning. We have a quorum present, and our courtroom is a little chilly this morning. The heat's not working, but hopefully either they'll build up hot air here a little bit, or they'll get the heat fixed one too. So anyway, appreciate everybody gathering up. And the first item on the agenda is to discuss and consider a new application and fee schedule for mass gathering permits. And I believe our fire marshal has been working with the district attorney's office. I'm not sure which, we talked about this the other day, and I guess with the sheriff's department too. So, are you going to lead the discussion?
I'm going to work with Randy, and I'm going to let Randy start out, if that's okay, and then I'll kind of pick up.
Good morning, Commissioners. What I've presented to you in the packets, basically all we're going to do is update the county's mass gathering permit application. We've had one, and it's significantly outdated. It doesn't address all the issues with the current laws, recent legislation changes, and so forth. And in addition to that, in order to help the customer, I've also provided a clip-on copy, so to speak, of the two administrative codes with mass gathering law or statute references. I would recommend that we go ahead and include those in the packet when they pick it up, just for reference. You know, we have all the information that they would need. We also address the fee structure in our new.
All right, you sent out a revised one, I believe, yesterday.
Yes, that's been rescinded. Yeah.
And so we have, y'all want to kind of talk to each other about all this?
We already have, sir, and I believe we made recommendations that we don't do the revisions as far as basically picking and choosing who we charge. And, you know, addressing that, we have never had in Kaufman County, for 15 years that I've been here, we've never had a nonprofit or a fire department or anything like that that even came close to the 2,500 people over a 5-hour period, which is what the statute says. That portion of the statute still exists. The only other clause, two other clauses in the statute, the second being that number comes down to 500 people if alcohol is being served or consumed on the premises, and at least 51% or more of the attendees are under the age of 21. That has come into play when we had our Warrior Dash events, those type of events, and the Kettle Barons Ball that this county's held twice that I know of. And in both cases, they did permit with the county.
Did they sell alcohol those nights?
Yes, sir.
I didn't know.
They served it. I don't know if they sell it, but they served it.
Yeah.
And it's allowed to be consumed. It doesn't even say that they have to serve or sell, it's just if it's consumed on the premises.
So people bring their own?
Yes, sir. And then the last legislative item that came across this past session included the third part of it, which was the very specific to horse and greyhound races. It does not address any of the other ones, only if it's a horse or a greyhound race. And if it attracts or is expected to attract 100 or more people, then they are required by law to come to the county and permit.
So maybe if they're 99 people, they don't have to do anything.
That's correct. I've never seen that.
You ought to be out there counting.
Never
But
seen
it
it.
says what they expect to have.
Yes, right. Yes, sir. We've also most of the complaints that we have received through my office, and I believe through Sheriff Beaver's office, the complaints that are received deal with volumes and numbers of people. The biggest issue being the traffic and people parking in yards, and, you know, trespassing issues and so forth, and then literally blocking the public roads. all of those items are addressed and always have been since 1989 in the mass gathering statute. All of those problems that we receive, the complaints that we receive, each and every one of those problems is addressed in the mass gathering permit in the process. And as long as they comply, it wouldn't matter if they had 3,000 people. If they complied with all the complaints that we're receiving, there would be no more complaints in the county on those issues. If there are complaints still, then the statute allows for us to intervene and address it, citations or closure, so forth, depending upon what the situation is.
My only comment is, when I went through the review, I checked off everything that the statute required through the health and safety code for the permit, and the application has all of that in it, so that was good. It does have a few extra requirements for fire and life safety, health and sanitation, and public safety, but when I went back and checked and compared to other applications, I mean, it's just a wide assortment of different ways that you can do this permit, but you tailored yours off of Dallas County.
Somewhat. I looked at all of them. A lot of them did not address all of the issues that we have.
With the horse races in particular?
Just, not necessarily horse races in particular, just in general. But, Kaufman County, and being as we are to the Metroplex, law allows us to adopt a fire code. So there are certain revisions that a place like that would have to provide. That would be, one, the roadway going in. It has to be up to fire code standards in order to support emergency vehicles and be able to place those emergency vehicles at various places on the property should any emergency occur.
So my only concern was from a practical standpoint, if the extra requirements create any type of delay or I guess additional work. Because
upon our office, but it's what we're going to be doing as well, to my knowledge, unless you find something in writing.
well, and then kind of from on the other applications, it looks like they just stay strictly to what the statute is, each requirement. So if you're telling me the other requirements are based in statute and code, then it sounds like we don't have any issues.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
The fire code is addressed in statute, and we have adopted it in accordance with statute.
Because we're bordering counties without that.
That's correct.
The only other thing I had, of course, Randy and I already talked about the waiver of any fees. And when you look back in the statute at that provision, it kind of talks about you can assess a fee if there are fees that are, if there are costs of the county doing those inspections. And of course there are, because your office has to spend time doing the fire inspection, sheriff's office, and health authority, health inspections as well.
And the
then,
county judge as well.
and those are all refunded back
reviews.
to the general fund, and then they can be, I think the statute specifically says, refunded to the department that their services were utilized to do the inspection. My comment on it, though, is that the fee seems a little high compared to all the other permits. And I think we probably,
From the other county.
yeah, we probably need to make sure that that fee is representative, or we have some evidence to back up exactly how much is being assessed.
I did bring that, I did study that and find out. For instance, Dallas County, the only fee that they show on their application is the $350. In addition to that process, they also have to go to the Dallas County Fire Marshal's office, and they have to pull an application in the amount of $250 or $300.
Okay.
I'm getting my numbers. They're all around the $250 to $350 mark for the fire marshal services. They have the fire code just as we do, so there's much more stuff to look at. Henderson County only charges $100 for their fire code inspection, the fire marshal inspection. Henderson County does not have a fire code by statute. They don't have it, so there's very minimal things that they address.
I guess I was looking at like Hayes County is 300, Guadalupe is 400, I think, and those are both bordering counties to larger metropolitan areas.
They're not showing in their application where the other additional departments that they have to go and permit. Some of those
Okay.
counties on the health inspection, they require that they find a health authority. And they would have to have a health inspection in accordance with the statute.
So I guess my question is, does that need to be a part of our permit, or can that be assessed separately at the department? It just, as a part of the permit, it makes it seem like it's a lot higher than the other counties.
I was just trying to avoid confusion and actually showing the people that would be
Yeah.
applying.
Well, they're gonna be charged.
Turn this into the judge, that's not the only fee and inspection process that you would have to go through. And it does,
I understand that, but I wonder why the other counties haven't gone that way. So,
that I'm not sure, we didn't go in depth that much. I do know that my office alone would be looking at about a 2 to 3 hour plan review on a proper submittal,
okay,
and would be looking at probably
On-site.
2 to 3 hour site inspection,
and then what's your hourly?
$50 per hour.
So you're getting close to the 300.
And that would be if there's only one site inspection. And then after the event, the health authority
And you have
specifically.
the requirement, if there's subsequent inspection in the same event, that it's 200. And I think that's definitely fair, because the other applications are doing the same thing. Actually, did we put that in ours? Because
I'm not sure if we put that in there
Okay.
because I had them addressed on the front page.
okay. See, I kind of like that if there's a subsequent inspection then for the same event, then they charge an additional fee. I don't know, what do you guys think about the fees? Because I just don't want to, they definitely have to be exactly what cost that the county is experiencing, or else we'll get tagged for that one.
I was
That's
actually
your major
$300 fire marshal fee.
concern.
The fees?
Yeah. With the process.
Yeah. And I-
We can justify the dollar amounts by the employee's time and everything's expended,
Sure.
right?
And we had several hours in it ourselves on 2 different occasions, actually 3 different occasions. The plan review process, and then the on-site inspections prior to and/or during the event. Statute allows for that. And in addition to that, there's a requirement in the statute that each one of these entities, the county judge, the sheriff, the fire marshal, and the health authority, we attend a hearing, 10 days, no less than 10 days prior to the event to approve or deny the application. And that was,
So what,
that's my thought.
so what we end up with is we end up with a fee of $1,200. And so, we need to definitely be sure that we can back up those numbers. But we don't want to end up in a position where our fee is seen as excessive and we'll have an issue with the constitutionality of the statute. So can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Background.
Just
So-
as a, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, sometimes if something appears unreasonable, and whether you all think it's unreasonable or not, it's better to err on the side a little bit of appearing more reasonable. So that's really a decision that the commission's court would have to make. There's nothing unlawful about these fees if those are truly the cost involved, guaranteed cost involved on every single permit. It's just really something that we want to make sure that once we put this, application out for the public,
I didn't pull those, they're
and
not our side.
once we are enforcing it, we want to make sure that we don't have a fee that is prohibitive to somebody or some group being able to have a gathering. Because it just goes against everything America stands for. The freedom to gather, the freedom to have meetings, all those kinds of things. And I'm not trying to paint a broad stroke on that, but that is one of those essential democratic principles. So we want to make sure that this fee, I think it's better to be a little bit under than it is to risk being over or having a fee that appears prohibitive to us.
Karen, do you have a recommendation or something?
recommendation, okay, my recommendation would be that we try to keep something that's definitely under $1,000. And when I look at something like this, what you run into is people say, or people that are trying to get a permit, is they say, hey, I'm a taxpayer, I pay for the county judge, I pay for the fire marshal, I pay for those things anyway as taxpayers. So why am I being charged, like on a cost basis for a fee? So in my mind, I definitely wouldn't go over like $900, and even if you keep it between around the $500 to $700 range. I just think it needs to be something that looks reasonable, because this fee is for all groups, whether it's a horse race or whether it's, some major church, like some major nonprofit gathering, or, and we don't want to have to come back and always be adjusting. And if we can help it, our permit, like we try to do. Yes, sir.
Well, I guess just to clarify what you're trying to say, what Randy's saying, these fees are in there. It's just the other counties don't have them all up front when you look at them. So the fees still are there, but they're just hidden. That you've got to go to these other departments to do it, but you still add them up. It's all the same.
And I'm not really
Is that what
sure
you're
that that's the same in every county, because like this one just says inspection fee payable to the county, $400. So I would assume that would be for each of the inspections, that there wouldn't be any additional price.
But we don't know for sure.
No, I'm just looking at the documents.
We don't really know for sure. And in some counties,
That specifically say.
in Henderson County specifically says, I'm just going to use this, 300 non-refundable for the application, 400 for the health inspection, 100 for the fire marshal inspection. So that puts their fees at about $800, but that still keeps them under $900. But when you start getting to like over $900 and $1,000 and $1,200, and that's just my opinion. Now,
What if we took the judges fee out of it and made it $900?
Yeah, I don't think
And
we can
that
assess
maybe
the
even
judges.
apply to the services that the sheriff's office supplies, because they do pay review and site inspections.
but we need to look at the reality of whether it's really going to be a 2 to 3 hour inspection. I'm not doubting that. I'm not trying to say
I
that.
know, but y'all's concerned, it seems like it's in thousands, so we just.
Either fire marshal, health inspection.
Leave the health inspector, fire marshal, and the sheriff's office. They're all free to be done.
And those are things that are more easy to accept as the county judge. But you know what I mean? Because people are like, well, I elected him. He paid for him. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think that's much more palatable.
Now, do we still have the ability to have to go back? Is there still another fee on top of it? Or if you get it over for some reason?
That's not addressing ours. I do believe it's addressed in either Dallas or Rockwall, but there was additional, there was a rate. Or even if they had to have personnel at the site to monitor, it was a rate of $75.
Is that somewhere in writing?
It's in Dallas.
About hours?
What we can put in ours is we can put what I call kind of a catch-all provision, or we can add a paragraph where additional fees that may be assessed, and put like, if there's additional time required, if there's some of those things that you're talking about, where we lay them out specifically, so a party has noticed that there is a possibility that there could be additional fees, but we're just not lumping them in.
Again, my question would be on that, would that be a choice matter? In other words, would that be a choice, say, I'd like the sheriff department to come out here and do traffic control or whatever on the street? Say, sure. No, but I'm just saying. You don't want to do that. So what I'm saying is, it could be in the fee clause and say, if you do that, you're gonna have to talk to the sheriff's department, and they got a fee service for that, and that's an expensive deal.
And you'll have to sign
You
something
need to-
different with,
Yeah.
with Brian.
I mean, I don't know how they would do that. I don't know how you would.
I think we need to be careful about that, because
Yeah,
we
exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know how you do it.
we put ourselves in a position of, if something happens where unexpected and the sheriff's office gets called out and they end up out there for 3 or 4 hours clearing the place out or this or that, well, should those people then be charged a fee for those 3 or 4 hours that the sheriff's office had to come out for, unanticipated crowd control? So we just set ourselves up for a lot of issues.
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
And
That's
so-
what I mean. It's saying Dallas has it in there. I don't know how you get that.
What?
I don't know how you would get there.
What I call a lot of times is, what I consider is a lot of things kind of balance out in the wash. You know what I mean? Like some event may not cause any issues and the county doesn't have to expend any resources. Other events may cause more issues, or, you know, there may be more resources required, and so the county expends more resources, but maybe overall it kind of it balances out. We just want to keep these permits, fees, really careful. And what Rebecca was just showing me, that Hayes County has a provision that says the standard application fee for a mass gathering permit is $300. Special events that require more extensive review from the fire marshal, the sheriff, the environmental health department, or the Office of Emergency Management may be assessed a reasonable surcharge to compensate for the additional time spent reviewing the application and supporting materials. And applicants will be informed of any surcharges that may be assessed against an application within 10 business days of submitting the application supporting affidavits. That's a good clause.
That's so if you get a request for like a Woodstock, then.
We can incorporate it.
See, that makes more sense.
And
That's something,
yeah.
that's what I'm
So-
saying, it's something that he gets a choice on, that's what I was talking about when we started, and I said, well, hey, this thing, we can charge you a fee, because we might add additional charge. It's an emergency situation, it's an emergency situation. We
Exactly.
respond to emergency.
Exactly. And
So, I mean, we don't charge for emergency.
right. And so we want to be careful with that. So am I hearing, I just want to make sure I'm not putting words in the court's mouth, but that I'm summing up it correctly. Would you all like to add that paragraph and then make our permit fees no more than $900, or do you want to, would that be a motion before the court?
I like getting it below, down to make y'all feel comfortable, make everybody else feel.
Yes.
Sheriff, do you have anything?
Yeah, the only one thing I just, and it ain't much about the contract, but what we're gonna do as the sheriff's office with this.
Yes.
During your hearing process, I don't know if you've read the whole law on that, notifying everybody that's involved in that, as far as neighbors and stuff, and what my part's gonna be, is anytime we get ready for that hearing, I hope that you'll notify me as soon as possible, because we're gonna notify the neighbors and everybody else, get everybody who's involved, because I think they can serve that right, know what's going on.
I agree.
So we're gonna make sure that we go out, our civil people, and we'll hang it on their door when this meeting's going on.
That's good.
Well, yeah, so they can.
And they can come to the event and give their concerns.
Right.
So,
And
They have due process on it.
that's just exactly.
so let me just ask of the court, if, could I make the motion, is that appropriate?
Well, you can suggest a motion.
Let me suggest the wording, is that okay?
Sure, I think we will like that.
So, let me suggest that for the court, that for the Kaufman County, mass gathering permit, that the document that was presented to the commissioners, that we will make basically 3 changes. We will eliminate the county judge fee, we will have the fees total $900 as a total, and then we will add the paragraph that we just discussed from Hayes County regarding more extensive review. We will put that on the statute, make those changes, and then ask the court to approve the statute with the changes that will be implemented today.
I'll make the motion.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Allen. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Commissioner Phillips. Do we have any other questions? Randy,
That's why they're the attorneys.
Yes, right, absolutely. And so, any other questions about this at all? I know we have, I believe, some pending folks that are wanting to move forward on this, so, and that was mainly because this meeting today. So we have a motion of second. All in favor say aye. Those opposed. Okay, thank you very much.
So we'll make these changes and we'll present it for signature since it's passed.
And thank you to Randy for putting that together.
Yes, that's great. It's to be aware of, for sure, it's here. All right, the second item is to discuss and consider approving the deputations of Deputy Constables Jerry Kitchens, Jeffrey McNair, and Reserve Deputy Constable Steve Hoops, Luke Friss, and Scott Whitworth for Kaufman County Precinct Number 2. This was at the request of Constable Johnson. Anybody have any questions about any of those? We have a motion from Commissioner retainer agreement with Allison Bass and ELLP for services pertaining to issues regarding the county subdivision regulations. We have discussed this in the past. We were going to actually put it on our February meeting, but since we had an opportunity to move this meeting up, and if we do approve, give the Allison Bass firm a little more, some additional time to get started on it. I believe the DA's office has reviewed this agreement.
I'm so sorry.
Y'all still talking about permit, but I'm kidding.
No, we're talking about this actually.
Okay.
Karen and I would just ask that the court put together some type of committee to send recommendations to Allison Bass. That way, if they're familiar with where the county is at and maybe where we're struggling in our regulations currently.
All right.
But that way we can expedite their services.
I think that's a good idea. And they have a copy of our existing plat, some of the subdivisions. And so anything we can give them as a heads up of what some of our needs are. So do you have suggestions on who might need to be on that committee that we could include that in this
We
motion?
actually do.
Each of the permitting departments, I mean, you've got floodplain, fire marshal who does public works, maybe two of our commissioners that are in more of the unincorporated area. So two's probably out, sorry, Steve. But I know J.P. has a lot of issues with illegal subdivisions. Precinct 1 and 3 also do. And then, no, it's not forgetting, county clerk, of course. Yeah.
And the county clerk.
And the engineer.
And the
County engineer.
The county engineer. And then if anybody needs assistance, that committee needs any assistance from the DA's office, we're always available.
Yeah. So the request would be, the retainer agreement appears to be okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
I know y'all have reviewed that, so the request would be that in the process of moving this as far along as rapidly as we can, that we have a committee that submits to the firm the recommendations to the firm. And that committee would be representatives from precinct 4.
You guys pick on the three, I mean, that's up to you.
Our suggestion was just precinct 1 and precinct
1 and 4.
4 because they have most of the unincorporated area that's affected by the subdivision regulations.
Okay.
And the permitting entities in the county, the
Fire marshal, floodplain, engineering, county clerk.
Okay. So, everybody agreeable with that, including those folks into the,
It would actually be our marshal that would be.
Public works. Yeah, public
Public
works.
Works, not the firm.
all right. So, we have the retainer agreement and the request that we actually help them as they move forward, which I think they're going to get on this pretty quick based on the conversation I've had with Jim Allison. They will move forward with this, and then also have a committee that can submit that. And that committee, I'll put this in form of motion. That committee would be made up of the commissioners of precinct 1 and 4. And it would also include the county clerk's office, the district attorney's office, fire marshal, and our public works, and
County engineer.
county
And floodplain.
And floodplain.
and the floodplain administrator. I hope somebody's got that down, Monique. So I put that in the form of a motion, and do I have a second? A second from Commissioner Allen. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed. Next item is item number 4, and that is a motion to adjourn the special meeting. Motion from Commissioner Phillips, do you have a second? Second from Commissioner Carter. All in favor say aye.